I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode is being recorded and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Welcome to Can I Get a Refill, the podcast that offers a nurturing and inspirational space for honest and open discussions around career aspirations, wealth creation, motherhood, healthy relationships with others and the self, as well as an emphasis on physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us for light-hearted, authentic chats with like-minded women, as well as more in-depth discussions with industry professionals to support your ambitions and heal old wounds, as we empower you to regularly fill up your own cup. I'm your host, Steph-Bruno Newton, singer, writer, recovering people pleaser, first-time podcast host, and soon-to-be first-time mum. Thank you for pressing play today, and now let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. We're here today with the beautiful Harmony Tera, a good friend of mine. She's a boss lady who runs two businesses, Whip-Lash, a beauty salon at Cronulla and at Bankstown, and soon to start another project. Every time we get together, we have really high vibe chats, so I thought she'd be the perfect person to join us on here, and I'm sure you'll find that she has the most beautiful speaking voice as well. Harmony, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Steph. Thanks for having me.
It's so exciting. And she's here with a little comfy blankie on her lap. We've got hot teas. It's freezing.
I know. It's one of those cold days today.
It's like a nice, cozy day. This is nice. We're going to enjoy this. I think we'll start. Well, actually, why don't you, before we get into the episode, tell me about the other business that you were just telling me about that you're going to start.
So I am creating an online platform for members of the hair, massage and beauty industry.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So it's a members-only platform where you can swap your services, basically. So
good.
Yeah.
No, it's so good, I think, because, like, life's really expensive. And, like, if you're looking at, like, where can I cut costs, that's such an awesome way to do that.
Yeah, well, it's basically like our uniform. So we have to present well to our clients. So
of course,
we kind of have this expense where we have to be spending money on.
Yeah.
So if we can exchange services with each other and take away the money we spend on that, replacing it with points, then that will be...
Such a clever idea. I know it's still in the works, but once it's all done, I'll put the link to this in the show notes so you guys can all check it out. But I was just saying I really love how we both live in this area. The businesses in Cronulla always, it's a real sense of community, and I'm always seeing them all like sharing each other's things on Instagram, commenting on each other's posts rather than not following each other because it's competition. So I really like that sense of community that it creates.
Me too. I love it. Working here has been, my business has grown already just by networking with everybody.
It's a real word of mouth industry, but it's real word of mouth area. I think like everyone here has lived here a long time and have a lot of local friends. So yeah, it's not like in the city, is it, where it's
you can
no one knows each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Awesome. Can't wait to see what that turns into. All right, so we're going to talk about today, which is very apt for the title of the podcast, ways to fill up your cup. So, life's busy. Being a woman, you never get time to yourself. So I think it's really, really important to schedule in certain things and like mindfully take time and make ways to fill up your own cup. So we've got a few here that we'll talk about. Let's start with number one. This one I didn't do when I was young. I've learnt this as I've gotten older. Say no to any invitation that doesn't excite you. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. Your time is precious. Yeah. So
that's a good one.
I have this thing that I hate obligatory events that you have to go to. Certain ones you got to do, weddings, some baby showers, whatever you want to do. Like there's certain things that you want to be there to support the people you love, even if you're not super hyped about it. But yeah, I just hate that feeling of feeling like I have to go to something.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing like catch-ups with your best friends, you're like super hyped about it. Like you're in the car excited to go see them.
You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I feel like I don't really have people like this in my life anymore, but I did until recently, and I've weeded out the people that make me feel like I can't say no to things. And I had someone in my life recently who invited me to something, but I had one of my very best friends' kid's birthday party. He was only 2, I missed his first birthday party because I got COVID. And then I really, really wanted to go to this. And someone else invited me to something. And I said, I can't go. And it was in a group chat, which I actually don't do group chats anymore. I find them really overwhelming. And it's no offense to the people in there, just group chats in general make me feel really stressed. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't go because I've got this thing on. And this person really just got the shits and was like, oh, fine. Look, is anyone else coming or should I just cancel the whole thing? And I was like, okay. And there was another female my age in there who she couldn't go either, and she was really over-apologising. And I was like, we don't need this. And it was a little while ago. It was when the Barbie movie had just come out, and I fully quoted America Ferrera. I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I was like, listen, if America Ferrera's speech taught us anything, because I know she'd seen Barbie, it's that it's impossible to be a woman. And if we're turning on each other, we have no hope. So, no, truly.
Did you put that in the group chat?
Oh, no, I did. But I worded it not in an attack way, look, honestly, I know where you're coming from. I know it's important to you, but we're doing our best. We're the other person in the group chat who said no is so stressed with work, so overworked.
Life is busy.
A mum of 2 little kids. She is so busy and she just couldn't do it. She just couldn't fit it in. And I'm like, why make us feel like we have to explain for one, and why make us feel bad when they... Yes! So I used to always come up with a really, really big excuse, really over-apologising. And Alan's always, my husband, for those who don't know, is always like, why do you have to give an explanation? That phrase of no is a complete sentence. So, he's always just like, sorry, I can't come. But no one gets the shits at him. But I also have a theory that no one puts that much pressure on men. I find that in these circles that I'm referencing, that I'm not really having a lot to do with anymore, there's all these expectations on women. And if the men can't go, it's like, okay, no worries. Then that's not fair. We're so stressed, we're so busy, we're doing the best we can. Yeah. Why make someone feel guilty about it?
I hate that. You have to, I have learned to teach people what to expect from you. Because I used to over-apologise and try and make up for things and get to somewhere even though I didn't want to go.
But don't you find, I find that the more I stop apologising, the less they get the shits at me. So I had this thing years ago, if I would leave, I can be the last one standing at a party or the first to smoke bomb, because I'll either be really high vibe or drained of energy. And I used to be like, oh, I got to go. I'm so sorry. I got this on. And everyone will be like, no, why? And now I'm just like, I'm out. I'm tired.
Yeah, you have to.
You should see them. No one gets the shits anymore. They're just like, okay, see you. I'll see you at the next thing. I'm not sorry, because my energy is really important.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if it's because we've all grown up.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
When I was younger, it just was impossible to leave guilt-free.
Oh, impossible.
Or not go guilt-free. But now I'm just like, I'm busy. I've got a lot of things
to
do. And you're lucky if I come.
But you should be grateful with my presence, bitch. No, but it's is it us who's changed, or is it them who've changed? Or it could be both. Have people gotten more tolerant, understanding because they're busy now too?
Yeah,
or
possibly.
I think it's only hard. The reason I never have issues with my friends ever, not just because they're boss-ass women, but because we're all in a similar life schedule, life stage, where we're all tired, we're all busy, we're burnt out, we're all at the same sort of energy level. So no one's really putting... But they're also...
But it's consideration. My best friend, she's got a whole different life to me.
Yeah.
We have similar interests and similar stuff, but I'm very busy and she's got a lot of time to herself. She's single, I'm in a relationship.
Yep. Oh, that's a big difference in time, free time.
But she'll never put anything on me. She'll always consider me. I think it's... consideration.
She's the right friend.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I said this in one of the last podcasts. You can pick your friends. You can't pick family. You might not be able to pick your colleagues. So it's really hard for everyone to see your viewpoint, but your friends, you can weed out the ones that aren't. Look, you can do that with anyone in your life. I've weeded out the people that make me feel like absolute shit and I'm just trying to do my best. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's a sign of EQ, a sign of emotional intelligence. So if it's someone our age group, I find that we've got that a bit better than, and I'm not impugning the whole demographic, but perhaps older demographics not so much. A, they've got more free time. They're not in the stage we're at. But B, they probably weren't taught that. They were probably taught to be women were more people pleasers, and now we're like, no, like put yourself first. So Yeah, sounds like you and I both have the right friends around us.
Exactly. It takes a while to get there.
It takes a while to get there, but I'm just so fucking grateful. Like I was going to start with this. Like, I'm going through such a tough time with this pregnancy, so many physical ailments, and I should be really depressed and I should be really stressed. But I was texting my brother the other day and I said, but most days I'm feeling really calm and a real sense of gratitude, because you wouldn't believe the support that comes out when you're in your low period. Like the people are rallying around me. I just choke up all the time because I'm like, they're just making me feel so good when I'm really like, they could just tell I'm struggling. So I think that's just, and it probably wasn't always like that. I think you just get to an age where you find your tribe. And I think that's really important for every woman to do that.
For sure.
Life's hard enough. And, you know, you've got outsider people and you might have issues with partners or men, and you cannot turn on each other. There has to be a sense of sisterhood. So...
And understanding.
Yeah. All my friends just make me feel like I don't have to explain myself.
Okay. But you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to.
Yourself.
That one point was like the whole episode. That's all we got time for. No, I'm kidding. Okay, number 2. It's probably in line with it, but it's set clear boundaries. And you brought that up, which is great. If you're unclear on what they are, no one will respect them. Oh, look, it is tying in. Be unapologetic about them and reinforce them when they are not respected. So, but that's up to you to do that too. So if you're not clear on your boundaries, don't get the shits if someone's not respecting them.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to, really reinforce them. I have this thing where I cannot stand talking on the train. You know when people have really loud phone chats? Like there's this one woman, I make sure I'm not on her carriage because she just has the loudest, like telling off her friends' phone chats. Oh, I don't like people listening to my private call. They're right next to you, right? So I will text on the train, but I will never take calls. And I told this one person in my life, I can't take calls on the train. And they would always call because that's when she would leave work and it was convenient to her to fill up her drive home with a chat. Uh-huh. But it wasn't convenient to me. And I kept saying, hey, look, I can't talk now. I'm on the train. Anyway, so, and then this happened and that and then the chat would just keep going. And it kept going to the point that I would get complete anxiety when I'd see my phone ring. And I was seeing this therapist at the time who was a very smart man, and he said, well, whose fault is that? The person who keeps ringing or the person who keeps answering? Light bulb! It was the biggest light bulb moment. So what did I used to do after that? I used to catch the Wollongong country train where the end carriage is a quiet carriage and no one can talk. I'd put my phone on flight mode and I would take a novel and read.
Perfect.
And then after a while, like the calls would just stop coming like that. I said what the boundary was. It wasn't respected. I reinforced the boundaries. And then they eventually got respected. So
you have to be the one to respect them.
Yes. Yes. So again, I was feeling guilty. That's why I was answering the call, but I didn't want to take the call then.
Yeah.
I want to take the call when I can sit and give you my full attention. You know, like
exactly.
It's got to be convenient for both parties.
Yeah, well, it's a call between two people. If only one person wants it, what's the use?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have any references of that?
I have a friend, when you said that, my friend, she's so funny. She's so blunt but never harsh.
Oh, I love those people. Yeah. I've got a friend like that.
You just, if that was her taking a call she didn't want to, she'll not ignore you. She'll just answer it. She'll be like, sorry, my social battery is at 0. I've got to go.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I do that now.
It's so simple. Like, you can't get offended. She doesn't not want to talk to you. She just doesn't want to talk.
I think that is so, so important. But again, it's the right people will get it. And the wrong people in your life will make you feel guilty for it.
Yeah. Well, everyone will hear the message and the wrong people don't like that message. I
heard something on, do you know Glennon Doyle who wrote Untamed? I'm a really big fan of hers. I've got that book. Oh, I think I lent it to someone. She has a podcast called We Can Do Hard Things with her partner, Abby Wambach, used to be like a famous soccer player, and they're really, really great. But she had a guest on and they were talking, I can't remember the exact wording, so forgive me, but it was something like, if they want to hear the message, it doesn't matter how you'll say it. If they don't want to hear the message, it doesn't matter how you'll say it. Yeah. I kept rewinding it and going, oh, I love those light bulb moments. Yeah. Where you're like, it's so true.
Makes sense.
And you'll get frustrated and then you can reinforce your boundary and say it, but if they're just not getting it, just remove yourself, even briefly.
Yeah, like you don't have to ask people for permission on how to treat you. You have to show them.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah. The social battery one, I think I was going to bring it up later, but that's so good that you said that because I used to think that I had a mental health issue, which like I do in some respect, but what I realise now is that my battery drains quick. So I'm the kind of person, my friend Simone, we used to work together, and she used to say, you're like the Terminator, because you'll be like, energy, 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 and then you'll be like, and then like you'll power down and then you'll reboot and then you'll come back up. I'm like, I do that.
That's exactly my friend who said that about the social
media. I'm a rebooter. Yes. So some people but I think because I have so much energy in a short burst, and then I'm like, I'm out. I'm tapped out. I'm on empty. I'm tapping out. And then, so I struggle with those. I always talk about this to the girls at work. They'll have like full weekends away, and I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare to me, because I can't be with people for 2-3 days in a row. So I used to work at this awesome beauty company, and they used to do 3-day conferences, and they were so much fun. They'd get motivational speakers and do events, but it'd be like all day, every day. So, and you share a room with your buddy, and I always had awesome girls I'd share with, but it's like there's no time for meditation, barely time for exercise in the morning. So every time I'd go to the public toilet, I'd do 10 squats in my high heels.
It just takes over your life.
I need to move. And then you'd have breakfast together, and then you'd have work conferences all day. Then you'd do lunch together, then more conferences, then a dinner together, and then all you'd get to yourself was sleep. So it come the second night when they'd all go out for dinner, I would eat and go. And I remember some people looking at me like I was rude, and I'm like, I adored all of them, but I cannot talk for 3 days straight. So I'd have to go and power down, because the last night was the big party. And I think I used to feel bad about it. And I think I used to think I had just really bad depression. And I think some people thought I was rude, but I was just tapped out. I just needed to reboot. Like I am a short burst of energy. So even like my very best friend had like a 2-part hens thing. By the second night, I was falling asleep at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And after karaoke, and then I lost my voice because I'd had a really big work week, went straight from shutting my laptop, running to the city to do it. And I felt bad because like she's my favorite person in the world and just wanted to have fun. But I just lost. I lost all energy. And then you keep trying to have champagne to pick up the energy, and then it makes it worse. And I remember her coming to me, and I just hearing her whisper as I'm falling asleep on this table, bestie of mine, it's okay if you go. And it was like the best permission, because I just went back to the hotel on my own, and you know, I just needed it. I was just tapped out. So.
I can't do that marathon of social interaction. It's got to be little sprints for me too.
Listen, people aren't talking about that enough, because I think like I've always said it, and then I feel like a freak, but I know there's more of us out there who can't do that much.
It has to be normal at some degree.
You can't talk like 24/7.
That's my job, you know, like.
Yeah.
I talk all day. I see about 10 different clients a day. We're having proper conversations that have picked up from 2 weeks ago, all of that. I can do that easily all day. But when I'm coming home, I would listen to music on the way home. Like just no one talk to me, no one do anything. I can talk to my partner when I get home.
It's a different kind of talking though.
Yeah.
You don't have to put on a show.
Exactly.
You can have comfortable silences too. My hairdresser says exactly the same thing. That is a full-on, you are interacting in a full-on way, not just chit-chat with your colleagues. You're like having an hour interaction each time.
Exactly.
So, there was did you ever watch Sex and the City?
No.
No, that's all right. You're a bit younger too. But there was an episode where Carrie, her boyfriend, Aiden, moved in, and it was just a 1-bedroom unit that just had like a sheet, like a curtain thing around the bed, and she's like, she'd walk in the door from being out with her friends, and he'd be like, where you been? What you up to? And she's like, buddy, and this is going to sound really selfish, but I need 1 hour where you don't talk to me. And at the time you're like, oh, that's a bit mean because he's the nice guy. But he got it. He's like, sure. And she ended up coming out and chatting to him, but like, I need that 1 hour, which is why I like my office days, because I've got the 1 hour train ride where no one's talking to me and I just shut off. And
charging the battery.
Yeah. Then by the time I come home and talk to my husband, we can talk about our day. Otherwise I'm like, sometimes, and I'm the way more chatty one, who'll be all up in my face talking about work stuff, and I'll be like, I can't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I can't absorb. I can't make eye contact. I just need to...
Exactly. Well, sometimes it's the type of conversation as well.
Yeah, some are more engaging, some are just easy to...
Yeah, well, when you're giving as well, you're listening, actively supporting, all of that. That's what I do during the day.
But they would prefer that you're, like, more present. This is what I said to the person that would call me, going, it's not convenient for me now, so I can't be what you need. You let me call you when it's convenient for both of us, and I'll be present in the conversation. Wouldn't you rather that? I would. Anyway, yeah, that's really good points. Number 3, don't overbook your schedule. Schedule your week in advance to make sure you leave space for downtime. Again, ties in with that. Anytime I've drained the social battery is when I've double booked things. I now have a rule. Like, I'm going through some health issues now, but like, even if I wasn't, I'm too tired to do a too big event on one weekend. I can't do it. Some things can't be helped if it's a wedding and stuff and a birthday, but like if I've got a big Saturday night, it's just me and Alan on Sunday or just me on Sunday. I can't go and catch up with people again. So I think you're the one in charge of your diary.
Yeah.
I think no one knows what your diary is. So it's the same with work. It's up to you to push back.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Oh, for sure. I think even just saying yes or no without explanations as well.
Yeah.
Like, that is
it all ties in, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's all boundaries and it's communication.
I think so.
Because if you're not communicating them, people are going to get offended.
Yeah. I had a huge problem when I was younger saying yes to everything.
Yes, as we all did.
Always. Yes. And then I'd forget, I'd double book, I'd mean to cancel before and didn't get time. Like it was, people didn't like me.
Yeah. No, because it'll come off as flaky when you did yourself a disservice by taking on more than you could.
Yeah, and I would do that always.
But I think you always do that when you're young because it's like
people pleasing,
but it's also you don't really know what you like yet, I think. So, like in your 20s, you say yes to every opportunity because how do you know what you like until you experience it?
That's
Plus
true.
You have way more natural energy in your 20s. So I feel like, I'd be out.
So much motivation.
Mate, I would be out drinking, really young, like partying all Friday night and then go to dancing the next day and or partying Saturday night and then work. I used to do 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. shifts. My first job was Best and Less at Hurstville. And that's all you would work. No, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then I would walk home, eat my dad's leftover pasta from the night before and watch the footy. It was the best shift and you'd get paid more than the Saturday shift because it was only short. But I'd be fine until lunchtime and then I'd hit a wall. There is no way I could get out of bed the next day now if I was out all night Saturday night. So your energy is, way different as you get older. But, I think you're sort of saying yes to opportunities when you're younger to learn what you like. And then once you get to my ripe old 40, you know exactly what you like and where you like to spend your energy and then you can dictate that's for me, that's not for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a learning process. Number 4, spend time with people who make you feel like sunshine. We all have those people. And as I said, I've just got a smaller, more select group of friends now that every time I'm with them, it is high vibe.
Yeah.
Even our chats,
I love hanging out with you.
And it started as just a client, but it's every chat I would leave feeling that my cup was filled up. And I remember when it was full COVID lockdowns and you couldn't go to beauty appointments, but you couldn't see your friends either. And everyone was like, oh, who are you missing the most? I said, to be honest, all my beauty girls, my lash girl, my chiro, my hairdresser, because the chats were so high vibe.
Yes.
And really similar interests that I would leave feeling
exactly
good.
Not every client is like that.
No, it's special.
Very special.
No, but I think, again, weed out the energy drainers.
There are quite a few as well.
Yeah, I remember I had a boss once describe this girl that was working with us as what are the things in Harry Potter where they're like sucking the life
Dementor?
out? Yes! He's like, she's like a Dementor. And I was like, that's the best visual analogy.
You'd hate to be described that way.
No one calls me that. But I want to be Hermione. But I have people like that I was, taking a step back from because it's just draining. It's all them or them guilt tripping me that I'm not giving enough. And I am literally doing my very best and I'm very balanced in my time and I make sure I'm so scheduled and I look at my calendar and be like, I haven't seen that person for a while. So I make sure I spread things out and I'm spending enough time with people. But it's the ones that just make me feel like they're just happy just to stand next to me and spend time with me that I want to see more.
Yeah. Well, I kind of create my circle around those people, the ones that make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's a small circle.
Mm-hmm.
Not that no one makes me feel good, but I just have a small circle because I don't have much time. So.
Look, here's the thing. It's not reasonable to think that you're going to get along the same with every single person on the earth. When do you watch Selling Sunset? No. I was watching it. Look.
Is that the real estate one?
Yes. I'm obsessed with it, but I always feel drained from some episodes because it's so bitchy and I'm like, oh, they need some HR because it's really a toxic workplace. But there's, I remember Chriselle was saying, you don't have to get on with everyone. Like her and Christine were getting on. Her, why do people feel bad if, you might get off with 4 girls and 1 or 2 you don't? But isn't that okay? It's different personalities. It's you don't like the same food. I think avocado is the most delicious thing in the world and some people think it's awful. So
yeah, disagreeing.
Okay, number 5. Oh, this one I love. So this is even more important. No, you know what? It's important when you're single or in a relationship. Date yourself. Take yourself out to the movies on your own, to breakfast, to a picnic in the park with a good book. But date yourself, but also romance yourself. So I went from high school to 2, I think there were 5-year relationships, back to back, and didn't spend any time on my own. And after that second breakup, I spent a good 12 to 18 months dating myself. And I think that's the first time I really started to get to know myself. And once a month, this was before it was even smartphones. I think it was 2011. I just had a Nokia brick, so you'd only get texts and calls. But I would not take my phone with me, which now sounds a bit scary just in case something breaks down. I'd catch the train into the city, go to the botanical gardens and take a packed lunch and a stack of books and lie under trees and then move position and then read under this tree and then have a little nap and then move around and then do a little walk. Oh, my God, that filled my cup. I would come home so relaxed, but I was spending quality time with myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because when you're at home, it's probably not quality time. Sometimes it is, but you're probably looking at housework and things that I need to do. So I think you should date yourself. And I go to the movies on my own all the time. I would just walk home from the train past the Hoyts up here and just go on a Wednesday night and take myself to the movies.
I appreciate that. I've always wanted to do that. My brother he does that a lot.
A lot of people haven't, and I'm always saying to every woman, oh my God, go. And they do those Chicks the Flicks things at the movies where on a Wednesday night once a month they might preview a movie before it comes out the next day. The tickets are more expensive, but you get a glass of champagne, you get a little goodies bag. I remember the last one I went to, I haven't been for a while, to Chicks at the Flicks, even though I go to the movies all the time. It was that Where the Crawdads Sing. And the cinema was packed and it was all women together in 2s or 3s drinking champagne and I sat on my own in the corner with my kombucha and my little protein bar and I had the loveliest night.
Yeah, it would be.
But here's the thing. When the lights are down, you can't talk. Yeah. And if you do, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because I hate people who have loud chats in the movies. Why would it? It's the perfect thing to go to on your own.
Yeah.
You literally,
I've always wanted to actually.
Do it.
Yeah,
find a movie that no one else, really, really wants to go to, but you want to see it.
Yeah.
And just, even if it's during the day, you get sort of different shifts off, just go to on a weekday. It's really lovely. I went to one once that was a Christmas movie and the only other people in the movie were a grandma, mum and kid. And she's like, oh, is she on her own? Oh, darling. Don't pity me. I'm having a great time. I was respectful to her, but it was so funny. But yeah, I think it's a totally
I'm going to do it.
Do it. And I used to go to a pool on my own, or I used to go to the beach on my own, do the picnic thing.
Yeah, I like the beach on my own.
I love it.
I do certain things like that, but I never thought of the movies or dinner or I've never been to a club on my own.
Oh, there's certain things that I wouldn't do on my own. You know what I've never done on my own? Go to a music concert on my own. I don't think I would.
My best friend just did that.
How did she find it?
She loved it.
What was the
amazing
act?
Though. It was some kind of reggae band or something, but it was similar, like-minded people in the audience. She found 2 people that were there on their own as well.
Then maybe a music concert's a great thing to do on your own, because when you travel on your own, people will come up and chat with you. But if you're with a partner, they won't.
True.
So I've actually found that if I've done things traveling on my own, I have really more quality interactions with others.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So I think they just think you're off limits for a chat if you're with a partner. So maybe it's even a friend. So maybe it is a good idea to do. I might try a music concert one day.
Oh, she loved it. She went to a music concert, I think 2 weeks ago, and then on the weekend she just went to, what's that cruise in the harbour?
I don't know.
Glass House.
Oh, yeah. My friends perform there. Yeah, so that's awesome.
She made friends with the whole boat. She loved it.
That's awesome. I think if you're an attractive young woman, it might be a little bit difficult because people might be trying to pick you up all the time. But Which is fine if you can just fend them off. But, yeah, I think for certain things like that, I feel more comfortable with a buddy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's good.
I think,
you know what I think the ultimate thing is? This isn't even filling up your cup. This is just for pushing yourself, is like pushing those boundaries.
Yeah.
And when you're a bit uncomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's really important. There's a difference between doing something that's making you feel the icks and not aligned to the values. But then there's a difference between like being a bit excited and nervous about something. So like you get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I like that. All right. I'm going to list a few more things that I want to try on my own and I'm going to give them a go. Yeah.
I'm going to go to the movies.
Do the movies. There's another thing I want to say. I don't think it'll make you uncomfortable, but it makes some of the girls at work uncomfortable. But masturbation. Okay, some people are uncomfortable with this, but I have this theory of you should romance yourself. And I was one of the last girls to lose the virginity in school, and a lot of people and a lot of my girlfriends credit me for teaching them how to find their own orgasm. And like I was the last one to do it. Because like it's like with relationships, I'm always like, how can you love someone else until you really love yourself? But isn't it the same with sex? Like how could you really teach someone how to pleasure you if you didn't know how to do it yourself? And I know this is going to make some people uncomfortable, and that's fine. Like totally skip past this section if it does. But I don't think it is disgusting to talk about. Like just like I don't think, you know, years ago periods were and now everyone talks about them. Yeah. Like it's still a part of life. If it doesn't make you us. Yeah, if it doesn't make you comfortable, don't do it. But it's like I need to know me better than a man will know me. So like that's something that I always did when I was single. But I still do in relationships, and I did it for years with Alan and Nate, but Alan travels for work, so sometimes
exactly.
You know? So but in a way where it's like I'll put on nice music, there'll be candles, and people think that's like lame. I romance myself.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, and then I'll play my favorite artist Tori Amos after it, and then you know what? But if someone's super super stressed, I always say, or a headache or stress, I'm always like, maybe you should just try doing that. Because I think someone said that online once, and all these women were like, yeah, that's how you get the best sleeves.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah. So that's something.
Stress relief.
Yeah. So all this dating yourself, romancing yourself, all that, yeah, you should do it when you're single, but you can do it while you're in a relationship too. And I think that's probably something that
I agree with that.
I stopped doing when Alan and I first got together. I think I was playing house and then got all excited, you know, like...
You do that in the beginning of a
relationship. You always do that in the beginning. And that's
You're so concentrated.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But then I think you get to know each other so well and then you're comfortable having your own time that it's good to... You have to always remember who you are. So
you don't want to rely on someone else as well for your happiness.
For anything. I say this all the time about jobs, about kids, because if they go away and kids will move out and jobs will go, some marriages might not work, but like you will be broken.
Yeah.
You don't know
if
who you
invested
are.
All of your
if you base
you into that.
And you're basing your identity on someone or something else, you just won't know how to carry on when that thing when and if that thing goes. So
and you want to be a whole person as well for your partner or for your job or whatever. You're a whole person with or without.
This is the first relationship. I've had 5 like committed long-term relationships, and this is the first one where we're 2 whole individuals. And Alan and I are both like, he called himself the lone wolf, and that's exactly what I was in my group, where like everyone's together all the time, but I would just go off and do my own thing, and he's exactly the same in his group. So we're perfect for that because we really respect each other's time and space, and there's no independence. There's no expectation of it. Like we certainly put in the time and make sure there's regular dates, and he'll slip off and I'll be like, hey, turn those video games off and have some quality time. But yeah, you got to still be an individual and still do things for yourself. So
yeah, it's about balance.
It is about balance, but lucky I'm in a relationship where that doesn't, no one makes me feel guilty for doing that. Some relationships do, and that's tough to deal with, I think. Number 6 is have a good morning and night routine. Oh my God, I love my morning routine.
I love my morning routine.
You too. Yeah. So nights, I still do things, but it's more obligatory because I'm so low on energy. I'd rather just fall asleep on the couch. But I still do the things, the dry brushing and the moisturising and all that. But it's more like, I better do it. But I wake up with so much. The only energy I have now pregnant is in the morning. You only get a good 2-hour window before you start crashing. Really? So I love to, I wake up, I put a vlog on. I tidy up the house because I might not have done it before. I do the little housework thing. Then I do all my juices and probiotics and stuff like that. Then I'll meditate. Then before I was so pregnant, I was doing yoga and then a good workout. And like my day will be so happy and successful if I do everything on my morning routine list. Do you find that?
Me too, yeah.
And if you run out of time and you skip things, the day's just a little off.
Yeah. You know, I'm naturally a night owl as well. So I had to force myself to do a morning routine and like just having things done. I just feel so successful.
You feel so successful.
Yeah, like I'm the best in the world.
But they say that about successful people, like making your bed. There's something about that sense of accomplishment by achieving something the second you wake up that actually makes those people more successful rather than being like
it's the addiction to the successful feeling.
Yes. Yeah. I'm the same with a clean and neat environment. I actually feel super unsuccessful if I go to bed with a big pile of clothes that haven't been folded or something. I'm not saying like sometimes you just – yesterday I was at the hospital all day, so I did leave the laundry until this morning. But if everything's neat and orderly, I just feel on my A game.
Yeah, well, they say that your environment is a reflection of your mind too. So.
Yes. You're just like me. You say the same things I think. I love that.
Twins.
Number 7, ask for help whenever and wherever you need it. You're not Superwoman and that's okay. And I think that's something that as women we probably never did. There was like this meme thing that used to go around. It's like, me. Oh, no one around here helps me. Also me. No, not like that. That's not how you do it.
Leave it for me, I'll do
it. So I'll be like, I always say to Alan, don't wait for instructions. Like you should pitch in and like do things. And he's like, every time I put the fucking laundry on, you're like, I was going to put my sports bra in it and you did it before asking me. And I was like, that's true. I do that. So just accept help. You know, when people are willing to help. I have so many friends at the moment because I'm having a lot of physical issues who are just always reaching out. Do you need help? What do you need? Don't do that. I'll come and do it. You know, like it makes you feel so good. I think there's an element of guilt that women have, like you should be able to do it all on your own, maybe because expectations in this
failure.
Yeah, I think we all grew up in a very patriarchal society where a woman holds the house together, you know, like, I have to find this document from the 50s where they put things in the magazine of what a good housewife should do and like, they're fucked. I'm going to find it.
I can find it. I've seen it.
They're horrendous. No, well, let's do a feminism episode and then we'll bring it up. But I think that's been ingrained in us, even if we don't actively talk about it, that we just should be like martyrs and be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And look good and cook.
Yes, because it'd be like those things are like, put your hair in rollers. Your husband doesn't want to come home from a hard day at work and not see you all done up.
Yeah, but he might be tired, so he might want to sleep with you. So just be agreeable.
You've read the same one. That's exactly it. Holy shit. So that's gone down through our grandmother's generation, our mother's generation into us for sure. We need to break that before we get to our daughters for sure. Well, either kid, boy or girl. We're not superhuman. No. I'm sorry. We can ask for help left, right and centre. And people should be pitching in and helping. So
it's weird. Like I didn't realise even the concept before my partner now.
Yeah.
I don't ask for help. I don't feel like I need it. Like it's a weird thing when you're not used to it. But she does a lot of things where she'll, I don't know, like read me and then go and do something. So like we had dinner and it was salty. She feels like I might be thirsty. She'll get me water.
Oh my gosh, she's the most beautiful person.
I know,
and gorgeous to look at. But that's just the right partner.
Yeah.
That she's reading you. But maybe because it's two women, maybe they're extra more considerate of one another. Not saying that men aren't.
They're
no,
not
so it's not. Well, then that's just the right partner. She's just a considerate.
But just accepting help even opened me up to asking for it because I didn't even know that you could ask for things.
It can be hard. It can be hard to
accept help. I was just not aware of it.
Yeah, well, maybe you were conditioned by not having people around you do that.
Yeah, or it was definitely, I've got very generous people around me. I just would always barrier off needing someone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a kind of deep-rooted issue for me, but needing somebody
I think a lot of us have that.
Yeah.
But then people will probably stop asking if you keep saying no, so there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But that comes down to, I always say this even when someone pays you a compliment, like just say thanks. Like they want to give you that. It's a gift.
Yeah,
like a compliment is a gift.
Don't spit in their face.
Yeah. So if they gave you a gift, you wouldn't be like, just say thank you. Like it's the same thing. Number 8, Flood your ears with positive content. This is really, really important, especially now when news is 24/7. I think back to the COVID days where you'd always log in at 11 a.m. for that update. Do you remember?
I never did.
You didn't?
I couldn't.
Oh, you're smart.
But I loved the lockdown. That was
I loved it for a long time until my roots grew out. You know, the Botox came out and I'm like, it's time to look pretty again. No, I liked it. I liked the first one where everyone was baking bread. It was like an autumn. And Alan and I had been working so hard and it was such a pleasure to spend time together, I feel like. And I think we'd just gotten married. It was such a good start to have quality time.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it was good. But there was a real fear-mongering around at that time where everyone was checking into the news. A, they had nothing else to do, and B, we really wanted to know what was happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like a sense of the world hasn't quite come out of that fear-mongering stage since then, even though COVID sort of, you know, we've gotten used to it in society now. I think we're all, you know, and now we've got world wars and things, but I just think you can't be listening to that all the time or on the daily or the first thing when you wake up. I do not put the news on. Alan wakes up and puts that on and the sports news, but I don't want to hear it because that's going to set the tone for my day.
Absolutely.
So I always say I'll watch, you know, highlights if I feel like I want to see something, but I'll follow news things on Instagram. So if there's something that's happening, I can still be aware, but I can choose not to click on it. I can just scroll past. Yeah. But if it's on the TV or if you – I used to listen to a lot of – when I first started listening to podcasts, true crime podcasts about murders and stuff, I found my energy really effing up because I'm listening to things about women getting brutally murdered. That is dark. Yeah. So I mainly listen to like manifestation podcasts, female entrepreneurs, business, money, like stuff that makes me feel motivated.
High vibes, yeah.
High vibe stuff. Or like, you know, these sorts of content like relationships and you know, people having conversations. But so I flood my ears with I do affirmations, so I'll either go on a walk and say them out loud to myself, like I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. You know, I'm fit and healthy. I say all these things. I'm a magnet for wealth and money. Like I either say them out loud on my walk if there's not a lot of people around, but if you put your headphones on, people just think you're on the phone. So I'll do that and I'll say them out loud. With my AirPods. Or I'll listen to, you can just YouTube affirmations and people will say them in your ear. Like if I'm really tired and haven't had a good sleep and don't feel like coming up with them on my own, I am flooding myself with positive content.
Like a hypnosis.
It's like a hypnosis. It's very much. They actually have these things too called, this is a guy on YouTube, AKUO, subliminal messages. So look, I don't know a lot about them, but like it sounds like music, but apparently they're repeating things that, you know, one's for wealth, one's for attracting your dream home.
Like the binaural.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but I put it on. I have to research, so that's, you know, do your own research on that. But I like listening to them, and when I have positive content like that, my energy shifts, and then I find the success in my life shifts. My finances will improve, my relationships will improve, my sleep, my energy will improve. So you need to, just the same as the way you need to dictate boundaries with friends, you need to dictate what you're consuming.
Yeah.
So that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's, you know, people you associate with, conversations you have, what's on the TV, podcasts you're listening to. So
because there's so much everywhere you turn.
Yeah. So
I agree with that.
I also like to focus on what I do like rather than what I don't want. This is a bit off topic, but like I don't like anything that Trump believes in or Trump says, but you will also never catch me going online talking a lot about him or stooping to his level and making fun of his hair or his tan. I don't need to do that. I would rather focus on someone whose values I agree with more.
Exactly.
So Mother Teresa used to say, I'm not going to march in an anti-war thing. Call me when there's a pro-peace rally. So she would rather, I just love that.
Just pointing your energy in the right space.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not saying always stand up for your beliefs and talk out when something's wrong, but if you are just constantly online bagging things, your energy, you're going to suffer. You know, it's like that thing of when you're wishing others ill will, it's like you're swallowing poison expecting them to die. And it's like, it's so dumb. So I think you're in charge of anything that you're, you know, what you focus on, you attract.
Yeah.
It's just the law of the law of attraction.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's not only the content but the tone of it as well.
Yes.
Like the positive or negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'll still have like in these podcasts, we'll still have chats about important things. Like things need to be talked out, but talk it out, but then focus on what you do like.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, only 2 more. Number 9, take care of your body. Move it regularly, feed it nourishing foods and beverages, speak kindly about it, give it sleep. You also don't have to be perfect every day. Allow flexibility in your diet and routine. So I have a very strict regime, but sometimes things fall by the wayside, and that's okay. Don't put guilt on yourself if you didn't work out that day. Like sometimes
that's why you have such a strict routine, so you can have those days.
Sometimes self-care is binge watching something and lying on the couch and ordering Uber Eats, and that's okay as long as it's not on the daily.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that you do for your body? Like, do you have regular like workout things or?
Yeah, well, I go to the gym, and I run. So with this weather, it's not the best.
No, it's not. Do you know that's the main thing I miss? I hated running and didn't do it until I was older. But you know how like 10 minutes into a run and you get that rush of endorphins, and I'm having such issues with my pregnancy. I can't run. My working out schedule is very limited. That's the number one thing I miss. I used to run the sand dunes at Cronulla and everything. So that's a goal that I'm not like sooking that I'm missing it. It's just something that I'm focusing on when I, go for a walk and listen to music. I picture like me getting back into shape and being able to go do those runs, not because of how I'll look a certain way, which I will appreciate also, but I'll feel good. Like, you know when you feel a bit invincible after a really good workout or a really good run? Yeah. So that totally shifts the energy. So it all goes hand in hand. Like you got to do your mental stuff, your spiritual stuff, your emotional and your physical.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing. Yeah. Number 10. No one really talks about this, but play. Adults don't, not like the adult play I was talking about before. That's a separate one. But adults don't allow for playtime like children do. We have to-do lists. Create space for being silly and doing something fun that is not about achieving a goal. You remember when like you'd go, hey, Mum, can such and such come over so we can play? Like, why don't we say that at 40? Like, I'm going to call my friend Jane and be like, can you come over and play? Let's play with blocks or something. Like, but you've got to find something that's not for benefit. You know how like you might, everyone was going to learn a language or learn an instrument in lockdown, which I'm sure none of us did. But you don't like plan things because it's a goal. Like have one thing that you do
for fun.
Yes. Yeah. For things like it could be like you sit down and do a drawing, but you might show no one the drawing. It might just be because that feels good in that moment. Or look, reading books like the reading like a fiction book, it's not really a purpose. That's entertainment. True. And that's like your nice little time. But something that's like, I don't know, just fun. Like even if you just go down, I have this little grass area that I never use and I'm like, I should just go down like when it's sunny and just like put a beach towel down and just lay. And especially now that's getting into winter and you need the vitamin D, when it's sunny, I should just lay down there, put my hands behind, you know what? Put your hands behind your head and make shapes out of clouds. Remember when you were a kid and you would...
Oh, my gosh.
Like even in high school, and my friend Chantel and I, when we were waiting for gym class, I remember we would sit on the grass. I remember because I'd always get a rash. I think I'm allergic to grass. But, and you'd make shapes of clouds. When is the last time you did that?
High school.
Yeah.
You got to make time to do nothing.
Yeah.
But do something nothing.
Do something, but do it without guilt. So I'll be like, I could have done this, and it's okay to just do nothing. All right, that's my assignment for everyone. Go and make shapes of clouds when the rain disappears, lay on the ground and look at things.
Set a timer so that you don't feel guilty until you hear that.
Do you know what? Maybe me having a kid, that will really open me up to that because they're going to play and I'll sit and do reading time with them and maybe we'll sit and look at clouds. So maybe that's like, maybe you sort of relive your youth through them a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I love taking like my niece and nephew to look at Christmas lights and stuff like that because you see them look so excited, like you're seeing everything through fresh eyes again, like you did as a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe this kid will be my good excuse to
or walk your dog, play with your dog.
Yeah. All right, that's the 10 points. I hope everyone makes note of those and does something off at least one of those. Date yourself especially and play. You got to do that. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you if there's anything you're going to do in the next week or so to fill up your own cup.
Yes. So I have just taken off an extra day of work. So
awesome.
I have Mondays, Sundays and Fridays off now.
That's so good.
I know. I've been working 7 days a week for the last couple of years. So this is huge for me.
Yeah, you and I were around the same time and I remember feeling so burnt out and having that time back to yourself. It's a real
amazing.
gift. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, so that's
love that.
filling my cup
little me
up.
time.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you take yourself to the movies on one of those days off.
I will.
All right, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much. I hope everyone takes some time to fill up their own cup. There is no resource more valuable than time, and I thank you for spending your time with us today. Your voice is so important to us, and we would love to hear which topics you would like discussed in future episodes. Please reach out via Instagram at Can I Get a Refill podcast or in our private Facebook group to let us know. If you enjoyed this or previous episodes, we would be so grateful if you could please subscribe, rate and review to help our voices continue to be heard. Catch you in the next episode.